Finally, the OnePlus 10R is here, and we all are already aware that it is basically a rebadged version of the Realme GT Neo 3. But all things considered, if you're planning on buying one of these two phones, there are bound to be differences in user experience, especially in parameters like the cameras, the performance tuning, battery life, and more, which is exactly what I'm going to highlight in this particular video. Well, if you don't know me yet, I'm Ershad, you're watching Trakin Tech English, and this is our detailed review of the OnePlus 10R and comparison against the Realme GT Neo 3. Now, the 10R's design is actually creating some bit of controversy. Some people like it, some people don't. The main reason why a lot of people don't like the design of the OnePlus 10R is because of its build. It's made entirely of plastic. The rear is plastic and so is the frame. And I did notice some panel flex on the OnePlus 10R, which doesn't inspire confidence in its build quality. In comparison, the Realme GT Neo 3 has a glass back. Of course, there's no Corning Gorilla Glass protection, and a plastic frame, which definitely feels sturdier. As for the front of these phones, both are protected by Corning's Gorilla Glass 5. Now, the 10R's rear panel has a split design with vertical stripes running on one side and a shimmery matte plastic feel on the other. Plus, there is this glossy plastic camera module as well, and there's a lot happening which sort of gets lost in that single tone black color, which kind of looks good in my opinion compared to the racing stripes look of the Realme GT Neo 3. Having said that, if you don't like these stripes like me, then the GT Neo 3 is also available in an asphalt black variant, which of course doesn't have it. Anyway, what I like about the 10R particularly is the flat sides, and it feels very planted when you hold it in your hand. It's a very iPhone-like experience. However, the GT Neo 3 is also comfortable in daily usage, and the thickness of both these phones is about 8.2 millimeters, and both of them have a very similar weight too. And of course, you've seen the camera module, and the camera module is wider on the OnePlus 10R, and both the camera modules have the cameras placed in a triangular layout, which kind of looks okay. One of the other reasons why the OnePlus 10R doesn't feel like a OnePlus phone is because it's missing the alert slider. Now, thanks to that path spin approach of making a phone, OnePlus users have to live without this iconic OnePlus feature. Now, if you like our videos, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it. Also, we have a new Instagram channel, a YouTube Shorts page, and a Twitter account, links to all of which will be in the description below. Go and check them out. We do regular content out there too. As for the rest of the design, you get a Type-C port at the bottom, a few mics, stereo speakers, no IP rating, and no headphone jack. You also do get a dual nano SIM card tray on both these phones with no expansion slot available. By the way, when it comes to the stereo speaker performance, I felt that the GT Neo 3 has a fuller, richer sound compared to the tinny, hollow sound of the OnePlus 10R. I don't know why that is happening. Take a listen for yourself. Overall, while it looks good, the common consensus is that the OnePlus 10R doesn't feel as polished and refined as the preceding OnePlus 9R and the 9RT. But if you ask me, I kind of like it. Now, coming to the performance tuning part of both these phones, both come with the new MediaTek Dimensity 8100 chip, LPDDR5 RAM, and UFS 3.1 storage. In synthetic benchmarks, what we noticed is that the GT Neo 3 actually scored more points in Antutu and Geekbench's multi-core score. In fact, the CPU throttling is not a lot on the Realme GT Neo 3. The OnePlus actually throttled much higher, and the stability score was not as good as the GT Neo 3. GPU performance, on the contrary, is possibly better on the OnePlus 10R. We ran a 3D Mark Wildlife stress test, and what we noticed is that the OnePlus 10R had better stability compared to the GT Neo 3. Even if you look at the slight difference in those scores, what matters is the fact that the GT Neo 3 definitely got hotter, and the best loop score wasn't as good as the 10R. Now, those are synthetic benchmarks, but I did run a real-life Genshin Impact test on both these phones, and what I noticed is that the OnePlus 10R performs way better. It has better average FPS and far lower janks or stutters. Also, the Realme GT Neo 3 actually gets hotter than the OnePlus 10R. Basically, OnePlus has tuned the 10R really well for gaming performance compared to the Realme GT Neo 3. Now, you must be wondering, why did I test Genshin Impact and not Call of Duty Mobile or BGMI? And if you don't know it yet, those games aren't yet optimized for the Dimensity 8100. I just hope that they get optimized really soon and you get the best graphics performance as well, because this processor is actually capable 2. Now, I did play a few rounds of Call of Duty on both the phones, and I loved what the OnePlus 10R could do with Call of Duty because of that, enhanced touch response rate of 720 Hz, which comes in handy, and of course the gaming performance is really, really good. But that whole Dimensity 8100 Max suffix is a mere marketing push. There's nothing really max about the performance of the Dimensity 8100, of the specific Dimensity 8100 inside the 10R. It's very similar to what you find on the GT Neo 3. Both the phones also come with the latest connectivity options. You get 5G, you get 4G carrier aggregation, Bluetooth 5.3, Wi-Fi 6, all of that, and you get a lot of 5G bands on both these phones as well, making them pretty future-proof. And I found that the call quality performance on both the phones were equally good. No qualms there. Overall though, when you objectively analyze the performance of the 10R and the Realme GT Neo 3, I feel that the 10R is actually tuned better. Now, the camera setups on these phones are exactly the same. You get the 50 megapixel IMX766 sensor, 8 megapixel ultra wide, and that 2 megapixel macro. And of course, you get a 16 megapixel selfie camera on the front. The IMX766 retrieves the same level of details on both the phones, and the processing is very similar too. It is not too over sharpened, and the fine details do look crisp at close crop. The color size of the algorithms are pretty similar too. However, when I looked closely, I noticed that the GT Neo 3 does a proper deep red compared to the slightly pink reproduction of the OnePlus 10R. But this is just me being pedantic. Most regular people won't even care about these differences. Although in HDR mode, our first sample shows glimpses of how the 10R's HDR algorithm is better. And the second sample showcases how the 10R controls the highlights better and creates a more dynamic image with a beautiful reproduction of the contrast in the picture. Now, there are these 2 megapixel macro cameras which can get as close as 4 centimeters of a subject, and it is equally bad on both these phones. I don't think I'm ever going to use that mode. Now, when you shoot friends and family though, you will realize that the GT Neo 3 offers facial tones that are closer to natural. The 10R finds it tough to control the reds on the face. And even against the light, the GT Neo 3 tries to faithfully capture Sujay's facial tone. But like we saw in the HDR performance, the 10R's control of highlights is more pleasing to the eye. In portrait shots, I just couldn't tell the difference. The edge detection and the gradual blur is nearly identical on both the phones. There are some areas where the edges have a neat cutout and certain others where the algorithm misses it out. And I'm talking about both the phones here, so I guess it boils down to facial tones, and you know which one is better. Now, the 8 megapixel ultra wide angle captures on both the phones look very similar except for that HDR performance where OnePlus does better. However, selfies look good on the GT Neo 3. Whether you take them against the light or in front of the light, you get more contrast compared to the flat look of the 10R. I'm pretty certain that most people will veer towards the GT Neo 3 selfies. But the GT Neo 3 selfie portrait cutout drops the ball entirely. In fact, I've had that happen a lot on this Realme phone specifically. I don't know what happened out here. Coming to low light shots, they are better tuned on the Realme GT Neo 3. On the 10R, you just get these flat, over brightened pictures. There are literally no dynamics on offer. I just don't like it. The same is true even for the low light ultra wide shots and the low light selfies. Now, low light video is actually terrible on both the phones. In fact, there is a special AI mode that adds even more artifacts and flickers too. I was super disappointed. Talking about video, you can shoot at 4K 60 FPS on both the phones, but EIS and OIS don't work in 4K video recording on both the phones, which is entirely weird. I have no idea why these brands would have a hardware lock on for OIS on both these phones. Anyway, the dynamic range capture is better on the GT Neo 3, especially in 1080p 60 FPS footage, where you also get electronically stabilized footage on both the phones. It is disappointing that these brands are not concentrating on deriving more out of the ISP for video recording. Otherwise, when you look at the sound, the colors, the details, all of it is very similar on both the phones.
So 1080p 60 FPS video using both the phones. So 1080p 60 FPS video using both the phones.
On the front, you only get 1080p 30 FPS video recording, but there is EIS. Footage looks good enough on both, but the GT Neo 3 does slightly better at dynamic range capture. In more ways than one, the camera performance on both these phones are nearly identical, but the GT Neo 3 sort of takes a slight lead ahead when it comes to, the color accuracy, when it comes to facial tones, when it comes to video recording, and, selfies and low light as well. OnePlus, of course, does HDR better, but overall, I think I would pick the Realme GT Neo 3 by a slight margin, not much. So the OnePlus 10R runs on Oxygen OS 12 based on Android 12 with the latest March security patch. The Realme GT Neo 3 runs on Android 12 with Realme UI 3.0 skin, again with the March security patch. But OnePlus has promised 3 years of software updates and 4 years of security updates on the 10R, which is more than the Realme GT Neo 3, which is 2 years and 3 years. I don't know if these brands are actually going to live up to their promises, but at least we know that this is what their support timeline is. For the most part, considering that Oxygen OS and Realme UI are now based on ColorOS's code base, they look very similar. The UI elements and a look and feel of a lot of the features look very similar. Especially if you look at something like the settings app, you will see that the layout is almost the same. But of course, Oxygen OS has a few advantages. The first of which is that the animations of the UI are tuned really well and they just glide when you touch the screen. Not like the Realme UI is bad, but Oxygen has that little bit of better polish. And there are far fewer bloatware apps compared to the absolute trash apps that are there inside the Realme GT Neo 3. And of course, there's no glance integration either. It just feels like a much cleaner experience. And there are a few other perks like, Zen mode, work-life balance, and all of those things, which definitely add to the user experience. In short, Oxygen OS is better than Realme UI in my personal opinion. Displays on both these phones are literally the same, 6.7-inch AMOLED panels with 120Hz refresh rate, HDR10 support, support for 1 billion colors, and of course 120Hz refresh rate too. They are very well-tuned panels too, with vibrant colors when you want it and natural colors when you need it. The brightness tops out at 1000 nits in peak brightness on the Realme GT Neo 3 and 950 nits on the OnePlus 10R, but that difference is not visible in daily usage at all. Viewing angles are also pretty good on both these phones. You don't get that typical color shift that you get with the cheaper AMOLED panels inside certain mid-range phones. The only difference is that the OnePlus 10R has this higher 720Hz touch sampling rate, especially in gaming mode, which definitely comes in handy. And both these phones, of course, don't have LTPO technology either, but they do have variable refresh rate, refreshing from 30, 60, 90, all those as and when the content demands it. And what I really like about these displays is the tiny, bezels all around the screen. It looks extremely good. Now, the haptic feedback is also great on the 10R and the Realme GT Neo 3. I mean, most people won't notice the difference in the kind of vibration intensity, but if I have to scrutinize very, very closely, then the 10R feels slightly tighter and you get that precise sort of feedback as well. Now, both the phones also come with an in-display fingerprint scanner, of course, optical one, but they're placed really low for my liking, however, really fast to unlock. Now, both these variants in my hand are the 150-watt variants of the phone, and of course, as claimed, they can charge from 0 to 100 in 18 minutes flat. But what you need to note is that the 150-watt variant is available only in the top 12 256GB variant of the phone, and it costs about 1,000 rupees more than the 80-watt variant with the same specs. Now, the 150-watt variant of the 10R and the GT Neo 3 come with a smaller 4500 mAh split cell, and in my review of the GT Neo 3, I had clearly mentioned that the Dimensity 8100's 5nm fabrication process ensures that you get great battery life, which is entirely true for the OnePlus 10R as well. It's very similar, 5.5 hours to 6 hours of screen on time, and of course a full day battery life from both the phones. In fact, I feel that the OnePlus 10R is slightly better. Now, this comparison has very concrete findings. The Realme GT Neo 3 has the better build quality of the two, and of course the better cameras as well, and it doesn't hurt that it is actually much more affordable compared to the OnePlus 10R. And that is probably the reason why you get a lot of these shitty bloatware apps on the Realme GT Neo 3. That's how they're, managing to keep the cost low. The OnePlus 10R is, of course, for, OnePlus fans. This is actually one of the better phones this year for OnePlus fans, especially when it comes to performance tuning, where OnePlus takes the lead. I think that this is a slightly better phone for gamers compared to the GT Neo 3. But if you want that camera performance, then you will have to pick this one up. However, I see a lot of hate against the design of the OnePlus 10R. Now, see, design is very subjective. Some people might like it, some people might not. For example, I like the design of the 10R, but I completely understand if you don't like the design of the 10R. So to base an entire objective analysis of a phone based on your immediate first impressions is not doing justice to the product, in my opinion. So yeah, so take a call accordingly. Maybe if you are on the fence about the design of the 10R, go and check it at an offline store before you buy one. So that will be my advice. Which one of these two phones will you pick up? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you do end up buying one of these two phones, just pick up the 80-watt variant of the phone, because 150-watt variant is only going to be a pure vanity metric. After a point, you won't even care about the charging speeds, because at 80 watt, these phones will charge at in 33 minutes, which is good enough. So that's it from me. I hope you guys liked the video. Until next time, keep tracking and stay safe.